Greetings everyone and welcome back to Gladiabots, where in the last episode we set up a super simple AI that was actually a little bit derpy to begin with, or rather I was derpy to begin with. Now let's see what Chapter 2 has to offer. For the sake of experience, let's just see if our super simple AI can take it on as is. We'll see. Now they're all going for the closest resource right now. Okay, they're splitting up a little bit. Oh, they've decided to have a fight, and they did actually manage to do a chunk of damage anyway. Our bots are drawing out a little bit. They're focus firing quite well. Unfortunately for us, it looks like they may have the advantage here. We're spending too much time backing out, not enough time doing damage to the enemy. It's because we've tagged them, and we're now only really trying to deal with those particular enemies once they've been tagged. That is a problem. Okay, so we need to adjust our AI using the tagging system. We could get away with that just by not having the tagging system, though alternatively, let's see. Now, I suppose what we could do instead is let's get rid of all of this. Womp. Now, I want to create a condition. If we've already got a tag. So, condition, if enemy exists that is team tagged, A. Or actually, any of the team tags. Oh, well, no, that's saying and. No. We want an or for those, but we'll just use team tagged A. If it exists, there we are, then we'll perform a certain option. If not, then we want it to try and decide on the most dangerous opponent. The problem with this is we're now making one that really needs to be able to handle this a little bit better. Because if they all try to tag everything as A, it's the same as having nothing tagged as A. So given that, one thing we could do is, if there isn't one that's tagged as A, then just approach the nearest one. But we're going to want a new condition over here. So if there isn't one that's already tagged as A, condition. If myself is a sniper class. Ooh, could do that actually. I like the idea of a machine gun class. We'll have one of them be a machine gun, and that's going to be our leader. Then I would like you to pick an enemy to tag, basically. So select tag with an A, an enemy who is... we could have lower health and shield, same health. No, I would like the weakest one, generally speaking, but that doesn't really matter, because once it's tagged, it's tagged. Okay, we can go for, let's see, enemies fleeing from, enemies moving toward a resource. We could go for something like that. That's moving to us. Oh, we could just go for the closest, honestly. Weakest shield, weakest health plus shield. Or the closest. We'll go for the weakest health plus shield. Sure. So it's going to pick out the weakest enemy. At this point, I would like, if there is a tagged enemy, then they should pretty much all try and attack it. So, attack action, attack, tagged enemy, if that is possible. That is team tagged A. And the closest one that we can get. There should really only ever be one, so it doesn't really matter. We'll just leave that as is. Just attack it only if it is within short to medium range. There we are. Actually, what we could do is we could say, as long as it's not out of range. Now, the machine gunner is the best for that. No, we'll say short or medium range if it is attacked by me. So There we go. So if we're already attacking it, finish attacking it. Otherwise, we want to, again, attack the enemy who is tagged, but only if it's at short range. So this one will allow us to attack an enemy if it hasn't already been engaged. And finally, we want to move towards that enemy. Let's go and set that up. There we go. And pop that one right there. There we go. So that'll allow us to just attack. The machine gunner will tag them, and then otherwise we won't worry too much about it. So with that done, let's head on back all the way out. We're going to need at least one of them as a machine gunner. So we want a machine gun skin there. It's one of the slowest, but that's fine. We could possibly also maybe set up a sniper. No, for now we'll just go with one machine gunner. There we are. And everyone has now got a tag. Our machine gunner is going to take a few minutes to get there. That's fine. Maybe I should have set you up actually as a sniper instead. There you go. All of you need to engage. You're not getting to because you're bailing out a little bit sooner. Ah. When they're in a big group like that, they open fire on medium. Yeah, that's a little bit troublesome. Okay, well then just go ahead and we'll get rid of this option and set it to short or medium range. There we go. There we are. And that should work. But perhaps we should change this instead of the machine gun class, be the sniper class, because at least the sniper class can engage. There we are. Though the sniper is still going to approach, it should be fine. So team setup, change you to a sniper. There we are. And begin. Now the sniper moves at the same speed, well, just a tiny bit slower. That's not as big of an issue. There we go. Is the sniper gonna engage? Oh dear. That poor sniper. You should really be engaging already, but okay. No. Sniper's deploying, and yeah, I should really have the sniper engaging from long range, really. Since I set up the machine gunner's AI for the machine gunner, it made sense for the machine gunner to engage only once it approached medium range, but this is fine. We still win, but that definitely needs to be changed. I could set up different AIs for each unit, and maybe there's something to be said about that one. I think we're going to replay that. I think we need to adjust this. At the very least, all I need to do down here is add one new condition. If we make it, if myself is a sniper, then you're allowed to engage at long range. Attack, enemy closest. Well, actually no, attack. Yeah, I suppose. If we're going for team tag. At anything but long range. There we are. So there we go. That one's easy enough. I guess this wouldn't really matter then in that case, but for the time being, it's generally going to be a little bit better. Let's see if that works again. There we are. Let's keep an eye on you. There they are. Deploy and engage. From there, they're not even going to try to attack you. Pop, one down. New one has been tagged. Very nice. And the others are being distracted by my weaker bots, but that shouldn't be a huge issue. Is that one going to be popped? No, unfortunately. They're all trying to get over there, which is an issue. Okay. Approaching the enemy like that is not doing us any favors. Not even slightly. So, how about... Right. We'll have a few things changing up here. So, destroy that. We'll keep this as a separate module. This one, though, we're going to just go back to the drawing board on that. Yeah. Let's get all of this sorted. Now, first, we're going to see if we can actually attack an enemy at range. We can flee. Then we're going to currently just see if we can collect it. The next thing I would like to do, if we have a tagged enemy, if an enemy exists that is tagged, there we go, then I would like to try and attack it. But only if that exists. Now, to decide if something should be tagged, let's set up one over here where... how are we going to decide if we should attack it or not? We could go for... if an enemy exists that is close enough. Yeah, okay. So if an enemy exists that is within long range, then we should tag it. And don't worry, I will be adding this into a controller. So, for example, once again using the sniper. So, condition, if myself is a sniper, then there we are. Or rather, as it happens, we are going to want it more like this. The best setup. Because we may want to set other things to happen at some point, but for now, only the sniper is going to be allowed to assign the target. Now, if that's the case, we also then need to check if it has exited long range. But if I do that, yeah, having a single AI try to manage this is not as effective as having one bot with a overseer class. So instead of all of that, what we're going to do is nice and simple. Let's approach an enemy. If it is, let's see, distance compared to me. If it is at these distances, then we should engage it. Now, actually, we could have a condition down here. If a tag doesn't exist, ooh, that is absolutely something we could do. If there is no enemy that currently exists that is tagged, then we could tag it. Team tag. The closest, or rather the weakest. No, we'll go with closest. Enemy that is within this distance from me. Let me just double check this. If it's short range or medium range from me, that's fine. Actually, we can just go with closest because we know that one is there that is at short or medium range at this point. So there's no reason for us to faff around with that. We don't want to be redundant. So the closest one that there is, tag it as team A. If one already exists, obviously, then we should really be, if it is within range of us. So attack closest enemy that is tagged team A. So hopefully, if the whole group is there, they can engage. Otherwise, I wonder if we could make we could make a conditional statement that just decides if there is an available team tag to place on it. But for now, I think that'll work. So if there is an enemy within short or medium range, if one hasn't already been tagged, tag it, then everyone should attack it. Otherwise, if one has already been tagged, but we're not within range of it, then just attack the closest enemy to me. That way, we should still get work done. There we are, and that will allow all of the robots to hopefully tag everything. I don't know how it'll work in terms of the organization, the ordering. Like, will all of them try to tag the nearest one to them? We'll see. Because that's why I was setting up the tagging system to begin with. But we'll see how it goes. Now, we may find... Oh, okay, calm down. Yes, unfortunately, we've got all sorts of things being tagged right now. That does not help us. Okay, so... don't quit, but let's reset this. So we've tagged it. And now it's wandering off. I guess... what we could do then... if an enemy exists that is team tagged A, that is, let's see, range from the nearest ally, that is not at short or medium range, or from me, then untag it. So basically it's saying if an enemy was tagged but has now left the range to be attacked, then untag. Alternatively, I could just say, you know, any enemy, and of course, if it can't, if no enemies match this criteria, it can't do it anyway. So that's going to be the best one for me. It is not at short, not at medium, and not at short or medium from the nearest ally. That'll do. That is a better way of setting that one up. However, with you, why were you tagging ones? If enemy not team tagged A exists. Why were they still able to tag them even though a tag already existed on one? I see. If there is a single enemy in the area that isn't tagged. Okay. So what I would rather do then how are we going to do this? I could have exist exact count. One or less. If the teams that are tagged one is one or more. And you see that it's always going to be one or less. Enemy team tagged A are one or less. If we change this to not team tagged A, then it becomes if there's one or less members of the team that are not tagged, because we can't use exact counts. The problem with exact counts, I know it might be tempting, is that as enemies are destroyed, then, like if I said there has to be 4 non-tagged enemies. Well, actually, might not. That might not phase it. Let's see. Let's see how that works. So we're currently going to say, what I was worried about is that it would fail if there weren't 4 enemies to count. But it might just say, well, if there are 4 or more non-tagged enemies, Yeah, it will fail. It will fail because there won't be that many enemies. But can we do something with the reverse? Four or less non-tagged enemies will work if there's at least one that isn't tagged. But yeah, we're going to. Oh wait. I was missing that. The fact we can invert it. There we go. If an enemy that is team tagged A does not exist, bingo, that's what we needed. That will work, hopefully. Let's see how this plays out then. They're heading over there. One is grabbing it. Move on to the next one. They should, in a moment, decide that an enemy is close enough. Yep, there we go. One has entered. Have we tagged it to the team? No team tag has been applied. That is interesting. Let's go and have a look at that. And what happened there? Team tag A, closest enemy. If an enemy in the team does not exist. If team untag A, all enemies. That is not at short range from me or an ally. Let's have a look at you. I feel that this may be the problem here. Oh, wait. What did I just delete? Why did I delete everything? There we are. Right, so. If an enemy exists, then I'd like to untag it. If it's not at short range from me, or not at medium range from me, and not at short range from the closest ally. From the closest ally. Ah. Right. Distance from closest ally base. Right. That's unfortunately not right then. So that's going to be setting that up to fail. So what I'm going to need to check then is if any ally. How are we going to remove this tag if we don't want it to be there? Is the problem. I could just remove it as soon as it's outside the range of one of the bots. And it was attacking it and it's moved outside of that range. That's possible. If it was attacked by me and it's moved outside of medium range, then turn off the tag, because then it should only matter. It's a difficult one. The problem here is that I can't check against all of my allies. Closest resource, closest ally base. Current action, target the current action. Attacked by an ally. Ah. Wait. Not attacked by an ally might work. So if someone isn't already attacking it, then ignore it. So if an enemy exists that has been tagged that isn't being attacked by an ally, then remove the tag. Seems reasonable. Target the closest enemy. Attack closest enemy that is tagged. But that'll only if enemies at short range or medium range for me. Wait. Now the problem here. This one has to be at short or medium range. I'm checking for multiple things, but if an enemy at short or medium range existed, and I said attack the nearest enemy tagged with A, that could be any enemy. These don't necessarily have to be the ones that we're looking at. I mean, with tagging the closest one, it will be short or medium range. But here, attack the nearest A might not. For example, in a case where we've had one engagement, fought an enemy, it wandered off with the A tag. That would introduce a problem. No, we do need to double check that, I think. And in fact, if we just introduce that check over here as well, then it's going to make everything a lot easier. Otherwise, attack the closest enemy. That is short or medium. And we're going to delete this one. And we'll just have a connector node there so that we can share this out. That will be a little bit better for us, I think. So untag something that isn't attacked by an ally. And it is also tagged. Otherwise, go ahead and tag it if there isn't a tagged enemy. Attack it if there is, but if there is already a tagged, an A tagged somewhere, then ignore that and just attack. Because if we're on our own and there's an A tag somewhere else, well, actually maybe that isn't the best idea to do. We'll see. We'll see how this works out. But I believe there's an inefficiency here, in that if we had two separate engagements going on, there's inefficiencies that are going to creep in here. But let's see if this AI can handle this problem for us. There we go. One has been tagged. All the shots should be going to that one enemy. You really shouldn't be there anymore. Keep baiting, please. Right, okay. It is managing to remove the tags where possible. And my forces are trying to fight a little bit more intelligently. Fire! No, okay then. Fire, don't. There we go. There we go. One of them is down. But the enemy have already got quite a few points. There we go. Dropped your resources. Good. And unfortunately, they got enough resources that we were going to win. Okay. Well, we need to change this up a bit then. We no longer need a sniper, actually, since this will function fine by itself without having a sniper in there. And the sniper is a little bit of a weakness there, but I still feel that the AI needs to be tweaked. I don't think the tagging is quite working for us. I mean, it's great to focus fire. There is a tagged enemy within range, attack it. But if no one is attacking it, an enemy, then let it go by. In fact, maybe that's what we need. Maybe we should allow all enemies to be tagged by A. Let's see. If the enemy... How about we change it so that if an enemy within long range has been tagged, then we should abandon everything else we're doing and move toward that enemy. Because that would help focus the group on a single target. I think that might actually help us out quite a lot. Alright, let's try that. So, if an enemy has been... If an enemy hasn't been tagged, there's no tagged enemies around, then go ahead and tag it. I'm going to change this up. This should still remove any tag on an enemy that isn't being attacked. But I'm going to say that instead of if there are no A-tagged enemies, we'll make it so that there is no A-tagged enemy within long range. There we are. So, if there is no enemy at short, medium, or long range that has been tagged, if that condition isn't met, no such enemy exists, then go ahead and tag it. Otherwise, attack the nearest one that is within medium or short range. Otherwise, approach it. Action. Move to enemy. The closest which has been team tagged. that should give us an interesting fight there. However, what if I'm currently carrying a resource and I decide to engage? Ah. Okay. Should I just keep on going? I'm going to say that combat takes the priority here and have a conditional saying that if an enemy exists within long range from me that has been team tagged A, apply. Let's shift these across a little bit. And this one should drop any resource I'm carrying so that they're free to engage. That will be most useful. Okay, got a little bit of a more refined combat logic to it now. They'll generally care about things like gathering resources until such a time. Oh, you haven't dropped the resource. Right, you've decided there's a fight going on. You've abandoned what you were doing. Right, you're going back to what you were doing now. And immediately you've dropped it again because there's a new fight that you need to rejoin with your brothers. There we are. And one is down. You'll continue trying. Oh, they're bailing because they're currently being attacked. That one is on its last legs, realistically speaking. Now. Ah, you were abandoning that. No, don't want that to be done. Okay, if an enemy at short, medium range from me exists, right, okay, move towards the closest enemy. No, I want this to be, you'll only abandon it if they're within long range. Right, so I need to actually pop that underneath this. That's fine. Actually, we can easily do that. We'll hook it up here. There we are. Only we don't strictly want them to attack. That being said, they can't attack if they're carrying a resource, so this will work out for us. Let's make sure all of that is properly aligned. Yes, if they're currently carrying a resource, then they can't attack. So these will fail. It'll tag it if it's an enemy, it's drawn near and there's currently no other enemy nearby. It'll mark it as the priority target. It'll attack it if it can, but if it's carrying a resource, it can't. So at that point, it'll drop the resource. If it can then continue attacking, it will. But if it's currently at long range, it'll approach. That should be the way that works. All right, let's go. See how this happens. A lot of iterative work going on. We'll get there. Yeah. You had to back up straight away because you took so much damage. You're going to be sparking for a while. You carried on with your job, which is good. Right, got a bit of fight going on. You're engaging currently. Unfortunately, they are working in groups. There we go. And we've already got 2. It's unfortunate for me. Perhaps I should prioritize trying to take out any enemies that are currently... Oh, good. Prioritize the resource carrier. I like it. There we are. And this... Ooh, this is going to be a bit tricksy for us. Yeah, if you don't get up there soon, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay, there we go. That was luck, though. Not judgment, and I don't like that. We have enough resources to win, it seems. Yeah, only just, though. No, we need to replay this. That isn't good enough. Okay, what we could do is we could make... Oh. I'm really wanting to make a little assassin AI. This isn't... Okay. We've won this episode, but I'm not done with this particular test. I'm not satisfied with how the super simple AI is doing. It's not that simple anymore, I suppose. In the next episode, we're going to make a little assassin AI and have a separate class. That'll be our first actual new bot that we're going to set up specifically to target those enemies that are carrying resources back to base, whilst more or less completely trying to avoid any other kind of conflict. We'll see how that goes. I hope you're looking forward to it though, and will be joining me in the next, but until then and as always, do take care.